If they put you down in any city in the world and you had to figure out where you were, it would take about 2 seconds to realize that you're in London. We're staying at Rubens at the Palace, just a couple of blocks from Victoria Station.
Well, Rubens at the Palace kind of lives up to its name. Here's our neighbors. There we are, the backside of Buckingham Palace. Although I did call Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, she hasn't returned any of my calls.
Rubens is a boutique hotel with a great location, and you definitely feel like you're in England. Even though we were still recovering from jet lag, we couldn't pass up the opportunity to visit the Tower of London after closing to witness the ceremony of the keys. Every night at 9:53 p.m., this ancient tradition is practiced with the keys to the castle being escorted by the chief yeoman warder to lock the gate in the name of the Queen. Even though the sovereign hasn't lived in this castle for a few hundred years now, the crown jewels are still located at this site. They only allow a handful of people in every night to see the ceremony, so if this is something that you want to see, you should be looking to secure tickets at least a year in advance. The next morning, it was all about tennis. First, we left for the outskirts of London to the Hampton Court Palace. This is where the game of real tennis is played, and they get a little bit cranky if you confuse real tennis with lawn tennis, the game all of us are more familiar with. First, we got to take a look around the palace. The good news is that Hampton Court Palace is not near as busy in the winter months, and we were able to see it with a minimum of other tourists. The game of real tennis does seem a little bit like some college kids got together after a few beer and decided to make up a game with a bent squash racket. You get points for bouncing the ball off the roof of the viewing gallery, or if you hit the portrait of King Henry VIII. The balls are made of cork and elastic, and all of them are hand-sewn. We even got a chance to try our hand at this frat party racket sport, and special accommodations were made for those of us nursing foot injuries.
All right, so what I didn't tell you is that I did this by playing lawn tennis.
Ah, wow.
No, I'm kidding, actually. All right. Okay, that didn't work.
So just out of your hand, just pop it out of your hand.
Okay.
Just a nice gentle swing. Oh, it's got a bit of spin on it. One more go.
Luckily, we're getting this all on tape, so everybody at home will know how hopeless I am. Oh yeah. I was trying to take out the light.
Next, it was off to Wimbledon for a behind-the-scenes tour. What we all know as Wimbledon is actually the All England Lawn and Croquet Club. Wimbledon is, in fact, a not-for-profit members-only club. There are 375 members, up from the 6 that established the club in the mid-19th century. We were able to see both the broadcast center and the interview room.
So from real tennis at Hampton Court this morning, we're now at the epicenter for tennis here at Wimbledon, and we're in the interview room in the media center. This is our host, Andy, who's showing us around today.
Andy showed us around all the grounds, with the highlight being a visit to center court that is only used every year for the final at the Grand Slam tournament. The scoreboard was still in place from last summer's event. After a quick tuck and roll at the hotel, we were invited to a cocktail reception with some of the cast members of Wicked before we got to see the London production of this musical. Following the show, we were invited backstage to check out the sets and props used in production. After a quick 48 hours in London, it was then off back to the airport to catch another plane.